Do you ever get overwhelmed by all the negative thoughts racing around in your head? That repetitive negative inner voice that dwells on what's wrong and what could go wrong and never knows when to shut up. Where does that voice come from, and how do we quiet it? A lot of our negative thoughts are automatic, and we may not even notice we're having them. So we start by identifying the thoughts and calling them out. I'm thinking, I'm so stupid. I'm having the thought, something's going to go wrong. Acknowledging our thoughts in this way helps us step out of our heads, get some distance, and look at our thoughts more objectively. And then we ask, where is this thought coming from? Our thoughts usually reflect our situations or the circumstances we find ourselves in. But there are many different ways to look at the same situation. So why do we think about it one way, while someone else will see it from a different perspective? Often negative thoughts arise out of our emotions. When we're feeling sad or depressed, we might have a sad thought, like, I can't do anything right. When we're anxious, we have a what-if thought. When we're angry, we think, this isn't fair. And if we're in a good mood, we might think, it's not a big deal. So then we want to identify and name how we're feeling. I'm feeling sad. I'm anxious right now. I'm angry. Simply acknowledging our emotions and naming them can make them a little less intense, which in turn helps quiet our negative thoughts. And since our thoughts feed back into our emotions, quieting our negative thoughts also calms how we feel, which quiets our negative inner voice even more. Now, our emotions aren't always the most objective, so when negative thoughts come from how we're feeling, we can remind ourselves, this is just my depression talking, or this is my anxiety, my fear, or my anger talking. Externalizing our thoughts in this way makes them feel less powerful, and some people even like to give their negative voices a name. That's just Fred talking. There goes Gladys again. I don't need to listen to her. And then we can question what our inner voice is telling us, asking ourselves, is there another way of thinking about this? Another way of looking at this situation that's not as negative? If I weren't feeling this way right now, what might I think instead? If a friend had this thought, what would I tell them? And what might a supportive inner voice say to me right now? Or we can imagine turning down the volume on this negative inner voice until it fades into the background. Once we recognize a thought as just an emotional inner voice with nothing new to say, we can put it on mute or simply let it go. This doesn't mean we ignore how we feel. We've acknowledged our emotions and listened to what they have to say. But once they start repeating the same negative message over and over, we don't have to keep listening. Our negative inner voice can also stem from the past. Long-standing core beliefs we picked up as children, things we learned from our parents, or peers, or even past trauma. And we can use the same strategies here. Acknowledge the thought. Externalize the voice. This is 10-year-old me. This is my mother's critical voice. I don't need to listen to it. And then consider alternative perspectives that aren't as negative or self-critical. What might a friend or loved one say to me right now? Looking back on this in 5 years, what might I tell myself? Is there any chance I'm overestimating how bad this is, or underestimating my abilities? What's the most likely thing to happen? And if that were to happen, how could I cope? And then we can turn down the volume on these negative voices from our past, maybe even muting them or letting go of them altogether. So quieting negative thoughts isn't about ignoring our emotions or pretending that everything's fine. It's about recognizing those unhelpful negative voices for what they are and choosing how much power we give them. And by acknowledging these negative thoughts, challenging them, and turning down their volume, we create space for more balanced and supportive thinking. And you'll find many more strategies for managing negative thinking in my free CBT self-help course at selfhelptunes.com, so please check that out. And please help me out by liking and subscribing and letting me know what you think in the comments. And if you'd like to support my channel and help me make more videos like this, I really appreciate it, and please check out the donation links in the description.